Hi, mine's Phil. I like talking about politics in this video, in a change to my intended video at this point. I'm going to have to talk about what Rishi Sunak has had himself recorded as saying. It may actually be dumber than all the dumb things Liz Truss has said throughout her career, never mind this campaign. He has essentially boasted about taking money from the poor to give to the rich. Yeah. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, if Rishi Sunak's leadership campaign wasn't already over, I think it would be now. In reality, there's been widespread acceptance that Sunak is dead and buried. I've seen the odd pollster saying, well, it's closer than some people think, but not that it's close as such or that Sunak has much chance of overhauling Truss's lead. So he's now just facing another month of arse kicking as this contest drags on for weeks longer than was strictly necessary. Even Zach Goldsmith said that this was one of the dumbest things he's heard from a politician, and he's not exactly a slick political operator. He's a posh, privileged waste of space who managed to lose a very safe Tory seat. Yeah, even he couldn't believe this. In the video, which I'll link in the description below, I'm actually going to play it later in the video, Sunak is speaking to Conservative Party members in an affluent part of the southeast of England, proper Tory country. He talks about how the Labour funding formulas meant that money was being used to fund deprived areas. Imagine that! They're giving money to people who need it. This is crazy. And that he saw it as his task to put a stop to it. He boasted of having reversed this policy to divert money away from those deprived areas and into affluent Tory areas, like the one he was talking to. Literally taking money from the poor to give to the rich. Now, as people pointed out, it's not the attitude that is a problem for Tory party members. Most of them are reasonably well off and they live in these sort of affluent areas. They love it. They love being told that. That would appeal to them. But they want it done on the quiet. The news story here is not that Sunak diverted money from poorer areas and sent it to richer areas. We knew he did that. I've done several videos on it over the last couple of years. It's that he's admitted that it was deliberate. So now when you try and tell a member of the public, they can't really deny it because you've got a clip of him saying it. Sure, he wasn't intending to be filmed saying it, but do you know what? It's very common for people to walk around these days with the means to record what people are doing and saying. They don't have to think to themselves, might I want to record what someone's doing or saying? No, they've just got it with them. Any politician should always assume at all times that they are being recorded. Sunak was already up against it with the party faithful as the Chancellor who introduced the highest tax burden since 1945 when we had to rebuild post-war, the highest inflation in decades and a looming recession. These are not the hallmarks of a sound choice for leader for any political party, certainly not the Tory party. So Sunak's hope lay in running a competent campaign, letting Liz Truss expose how dumb she is by inviting her to talk about things and be the sensible choice for tough times. For the first couple of TV debates, he was sort of on message. The public thought Sunak came across the better of the main contenders and Truss the worst. Not necessarily reflected amongst the party members, but you can always make the point whoever's leader's got to win the general election, and Sunak could have said, I am the one that appeals more to the public. The third TV debate was where the wheels fell off. He kept interrupting Truss, as well as the host when it comes to it. Stupid. I mean, it not only made him come across as rude, but why would you ever interrupt Liz Truss if you want to win a debate with her? Let her speak. Let her go over her allotted time. With every utterance, people can visibly see what's left of her brain cells abandoning ship out of her ears. Then he started U-turning on a load of policies as he slipped behind. So now he was rude, desperate and indecisive. He completely abandoned the only attributes that gave him a fighting chance in order to change strategy to one of out-crazying the crazy candidate. And now he's boasted about taking a massive dump on the poor. Even though, as I say, Tory party members won't mind per se, they do sort of want their next leader to win the general election. You know, if it wouldn't be too much trouble. After all, consider why Boris Johnson is going in the first place. It's because he was going to lose them the next election. It wasn't his behaviour as such. He was going to lose them the next election. No point replacing him with someone who is also going to result in a lost election. You might as well have kept Johnson in place and avoided all this chaos. And these deprived urban areas that he talks about taking money from in order to divert to already affluent Tory areas are basically the sort of places that the Conservatives won over in 2019 and have to retain in order to remain in power. Imagine it. We head into the next general election. The Tories still haven't delivered the promises they made to those red wall areas. Of course not, they're never going to do that. But they say it's coming. They say, oh, it's on the way. We've got the groundwork in. We've been putting the funding in place. We had COVID. We had this. We had all these problems. But we haven't forgotten about it. It's there. You just need a bit more patience. It takes time. So Labour starts showing this clip of the former Chancellor boasting about what his levelling up really meant. And bear in mind, everyone went along with this. He wasn't just doing it on the sly. The Prime Minister knew about it. Liz Truss, who will probably be the new Prime Minister, knew about it as well. Senior Cabinet member. Have a listen.
I managed to start changing the funding formulas to make sure that areas like this are getting the funding that they deserve. Because we inherited a bunch of formulas from the Labour Party that shoved all the funding into deprived urban areas. Then that needed to be undone. I started the work of undoing that.
Imagine that. You're in the red wall. You might have voted Tory at the last election. You're a swing voter. You're listening to that. Are you going to vote for him next time? Because then Labour say, how do you know they're going to keep these promises? They say it's all underway. How do you know? Because here's the former Chancellor saying he actually reversed what you would call levelling up. So how do you know if you wait a little longer it's all coming? There might be a new Prime Minister and a new Chancellor now. But what have they done to change anything that Sunak was doing? I mean, it's very nice of Rishi Sunak to, once again provide campaign material for the Labour Party on the side. I don't wish to sound ungrateful. But you can see why Zach Goldsmith thought this was one of the dumbest things he thinks a politician has ever said. And it doesn't matter whether you think he was dumb to say it, or as in my case, just dumb enough to think it wouldn't be reported on. It was a move of such political naivety that he can have no chance in this contest now, unless like Liz Truss falls into a coma or something. And even then, Tories might still vote for her as the preferable option after this. This video is a massive problem for the Tories. It'll be brought up in Parliament. It'll be brought up in the local election campaign next year. If Liz Truss wins, she won't get out of it because she was a senior cabinet member when it was all going on. She'll have known about it. They'll say it's not credible that you didn't know that this was the policy because it'll have been discussed in cabinet. It'll be brought up again in the general election campaign. It'll be highly damaging for whomever forms the government that takes the Tories into the next election. It'll be absolutely fatal for Sunak if he were to win. You let Sunak become Prime Minister after listening to that clip of what he claims was his great work as Chancellor. You can kiss goodbye to the red wall and with it the election. For Labour, an absolute gift. Another case of one of these Tory idiots saying the quiet part loud again. Oh, and while we're going to be on the subject of economic handling this weekend, the odd person has asked me to do a video on where Boris Johnson is joining us. I mean, major crisis. Where's the Prime Minister? I'm not really sure you want me 10 minutes of me shrugging my shoulders. So I'll just explain. He's on holiday. He don't give a monkeys. So is his new Chancellor as it happens. Though I do have to say, if we're going to have a new Chancellor that's been investigated for potentially unlawful tax arrangements by HMRC, and has been implicated in fraud earlier in his life, I'd really rather he was on holiday, if I'm going to be completely honest. I don't want that sort of Chancellor monkeying about with our finances. Yes, we need a Chancellor and a Prime Minister to be working on solutions here. And yes, the Tories have left us in the situation which they knew would create paralysis of government this summer. They knew Boris Johnson was going to bugger off on holiday. They know that he doesn't work. All the Tory rags that try and say, oh, he deserves a break because he works hard. The actual Tory MPs know that's rubbish. They know he's lazy as sin. They knew he was going to bugger off. And it doesn't matter what the crisis was. He doesn't care. He's checked out. But so the Chancellor and the Prime Minister are not going to work on solutions here anyway. It's that's all there is to it. Even if they weren't on holiday, they're not the sort of people who care about these problems. And it doesn't sound like Rishi Sunak's going to get the chance to help either. I mean, if his leadership campaign was a horse, it'd be in the glue factory by now. So whatever our economic fate over the next couple of years, assuming no early election, it'll be down to Liz Truss and whichever creature she drops into the Treasury next month. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.